Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a video and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Today, it is my unique privilege to welcome a very senior corporate manager from the air conditioning world, Mr. Kamaljeet Java. Mr. Java, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Java is the managing director and CEO of Daikin Air Conditioning India. He's a member of the board. He's the regional general manager for India and East Africa, and a member of the board of Daikin Industries Japan. And hot off the press that I've just been told, he has been unanimously elected president for the Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Manufacturers Association of India. Mr. Java, tell me, what would you say are three key milestones in your career or life?
Well, I think, I have had a stint for almost 40 years in the corporate world, and very difficult to just remember the three. The one which come on top of my mind is that, when my Volta second inning, I launched an air conditioner for common man. And that was, अब हर कोई ले सके AC का मजा. To revolutionize the Indian air conditioning industry, we launched an AC when Mr. Ratan Tata had launched Nano at less than 100,000 rupees. We launched an AC at 9999, less than 10,000 rupees. That was one achievement which I remember.
And I hope your Nano was much more successful than the Tata Nano.
That's right. I think just to give you a proof, today my mother actually is still using that air conditioner which I launched. So I am very proud of. My mother is 97 years old lady, and she is using that because that was given in many of your restaurants, on the small ginger hotels, I remember.
Yeah.
Second was, after working nearly for 30 years in some of the best Indian companies like Tata's, and also with Carrier for 14 years. I came to Daikin in 2010, and the Daikin was wanting to become number one company in the country, and they had to launch something different. And we took a very big risk of launching a new refrigerant in 2013. To take the AC industry to a level next by making eco-friendly air conditioners, which reduced the size of the air conditioners, which also increased the efficiency of air conditioners. This was a revolutionary refrigerant which we launched, and there were a lot of apprehensions in people's mind that whether this will work, not work, or safety issues. But I think we were very courageous, and the corporation was behind this. And we launched the eco-friendly air conditioner, which actually has today become a model. And every company, other competitors are also using that R32 refrigerant, which I'm very proud of.
Okay. So let's talk air conditioning. And, I did mention to you that I'm personally one of your very loyal customers. I have a dozen of your units installed in my house, including your floor units and so on. So, Mr. Java, you have spent a very long time in the air conditioning industry. You and I are probably of the same vintage. ACs used to be a very big luxury. Today, it's become a necessity. How have you seen air conditioners change in India over the years?
Well, air conditioners, when I came to the industry in 1981, I'm talking about now, was a energy guzzler. Probably the market was 300,000 room air conditioners, and in that 300,000 also 80% of the market was basically with the small scale industry, because the excise duty used to be as high as 110%. And you took some names, Mr. Serene and Mr. Lahiri and all, when they brought in 1987 the Carrier aircon in India, they made a revolutionary changes.
Right.
And that Carrier brought into India the latest design compressor, which was called Bristol compressor.
Mhm.
And they actually started selling. The best thing is to buy Carrier air conditioner, which was very, very expensive, maybe more than 60,000 rupees at that time. What is the second best? They buy air conditioner with Carrier compressor, because when you used to, this was being assembled by almost 800 assemblers, garage operators, I would call it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Carrier made inroads into the country. And by 1992, I think they became the leaders in the country. They had demolished the old players, and those who were low technology, tuddy fuddy brands, and Americans made such a big aggressive entry,
Mm.
and they almost reached, around 2001, they had 40% market share. They clearly established, because they worked on products, people, system, service, and brand.
Mm.
And this is how I have seen air conditioners market getting evolved.
Mm.
And I think after 2001, there were a lot of Koreans came into the market, LG and Samsung. And over a period of time, Japanese also started getting aggressive. So I have seen this market getting evolved from 800 garage operators to probably today about 20 odd players,
Okay.
who are multinationals from America, multinationals from Japan, multinationals from Korea, China. It's like that no one can afford not to be in this market. So that situation I have seen. And today you see an air conditioner which is, Daikin split AC also is available at less than 20,000 rupees. And at that time, probably the window air conditioner was 60,000 rupees.
Absolutely. No, you're so right. As you were talking, I was thinking, 1983, when I was promoted in ITC to a certain level, we were allowed to, as a perquisite, get a second-hand air conditioner installed in the company flat.
Must be window.
Window, of course, window. And my total salary, I think, was 2,500 rupees. I had no idea what it cost to run it. So we just got married, and we kept running the air conditioning. We found that the bill that came to us at the end of the month was almost equal to our monthly salary. So
That's right.
that came as a big shock to us. So those days, I remember what you were saying. But let's talk of Daikin.
Yeah.
I've been seeing Daikin from my days in Singapore, and that time it used to be the most silent AC. And even today, it is the number one AC. What is different about Daikin?
You see, I think, the Japanese, I don't have to tell you only Daikin, but definitely they are known for innovation, technology, be it your telecom industry, be it your automobile industry or air conditioning industry.
Mhm.
So I think one thing which I have seen is that in their DNA, the innovation.
Mhm.
So they keep investing a lot on the technology,
Mhm.
on innovation, on quality, on productivity.
Mhm.
And this is just over a period of time. I mean, they have just perfected it.
Okay.
In fact, I will just tell you, when I came, I mean, the name was that it's Daikin. They were too silent for too long, probably.
Right.
That is what I had a complaint that, you should not be too silent also that nobody knows you.
Right.
Indirectly, not many people knew Daikin in India
Mhm.
because they were too silent. Air conditioner was also silent, and also they were not marketing
Okay.
it probably well.
Absolutely. Very well said. So, you've led so many air conditioning companies. What goes into building a successful consumer durable brand?
I think it's a combination of course, you need to have the processes which are world class. You need to have systems. You need to have good service,
Mhm.
and of course the good product. But the differentiation is that along with all this, you must have good people.
Okay.
So I think Daikin has all that, whether it is a technology, whether it is process, whether it is a quality, all that.
Mhm. Okay. And, does it also mean that you have to, as you said, Daikin was very silent earlier. Do you have to keep making a lot of noise to have a powerful brand?
Oh, yes. I think I must share that with you. When I actually joined in 2010, of course, Daikin was known in Singapore, Daikin was known in Japan because they were already Japan number one company. And in Asia also, they were number one company in most of the markets, in Australia, in Singapore. You must have seen that, Singapore,
Yes.
everywhere Daikin man can, this kind of an advertisement.
Mm.
But as regards to India, I must tell you that we did a survey and we found out of 200 people, 56% people did not know what Daikin is. I mean, they thought that maybe it's a Korean brand, or there was some misconception about it. And not many people really knew about Daikin because they did not, they thought that, product sells, and the awareness was very, very low.
Very interesting. So, I've often wondered, what is the reason in North India, for example, where you've got extreme heat and the winters where you have extreme heat, and where you also have a lot of winter, why is it that air conditioners which have heating don't sell enough?
No, I think the trend is changing. The earlier what was happening probably was that, the people did not have an access to the technology, and people used to put a strip heater, which used to be very, from safety point of view, it was not approved. Now with this expansion wall, the new technology, it is becoming more relevant, I would say. And people are coming up with a Choidan and all, the new technology which they have actually launched on this. It is picking up, particularly in the northern area.
Okay. So my next question is on the digital marketing. The whole world is now talking about digital marketing. How is e-commerce and digital marketing affecting air conditioners?
It is gaining momentum for the consumer durables, and in times to come, it will become a high volume delivery alternative to conventional distribution. We can already notice the big shift happening with this post-COVID situations. Consumers are already realizing that digital medium can extend to any product, and thus even AC category also has already started noticing the increase in the contribution through online channel.
Very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about your management style, for example. What, in your opinion, are the most important qualities a CEO should have?
Yeah, I think, over a period of time, I can just sum it up what I have learned from my bosses or with my companies, whether it was, when we were in Carrier, they used to have a Malcolm Marshall model. And when we were in Tata, they were having a Tata Business Excellence model. But I think if I had to sum it up, you have to have a vision. There is no alternate to your passion. You have to enjoy what you do. And also with these Japanese for almost 10 years now, when I was actually working with Americans and I was about to join Daikin, I'll tell you a very interesting event that, I went to Mr. Serene, who happens to be your coach and my coach, or the other bosses. He says, maybe this is not a company for you because you are too impatient for after working in American company for 14 years, and you need to learn a lot of patience, and you have to have perseverance. And of course, I mean, honesty, hard work, and humility, dedication. Another thing which I have seen in Daikin is the very big, courageous leadership. So I think these are some of the things which you have to imbibe if you have to work. They keep saying in every meeting, the 3 H's, that honesty, hard work, humbleness, humility, and cultural sensitivity. So these are the few things which I thought I can tell you.
When you hire somebody, when you employ somebody, what are the qualities you look for, other than, of course, technical qualities?
No, of course, I see, first thing I see is the hunger, the fire in the belly. And, that is very important, which I take. And of course, integrity, capability, ethics, foresight, what is that? And emotional stability. And basically fitment into the culture and approach. And I try to follow Mr. Oberoi's style that, all the senior people coming to the company, actually, most of them at the above manager, unless I see it, I mean, we don't clear it because we think that people are the most important asset and you should not make a mistake at the time of hiring. So you basically hire for the right attitude.
There's one more question about green buildings. This seems to be a movement that is catching on for all new buildings. For our viewers and listeners, can you explain what is a green building?
Yes, the green building for a layman or for a residential customer, I'll tell you residential segment, ACs are regarded green as per the refrigerant they use. I earlier talked to you about this HFC 32 refrigerant. It is most widely accepted primarily because this is 1/4 of the global warming potential, which is widely accepted. I am myself a senior associate, green building associate. Regarded green refrigerant that Daikin is pioneered, and Daikin has taken the lead in this. So India Green Movement, riding on the back of this HFC 32, is making inroads in the Indian households and in a very steady manner. For commercial segment, we see more and more buildings coming up, which are green buildings today, which are more energy efficient, which are more LEED certified building. And Daikin is taking a lead in providing the solutions accordingly. Be it our VRV patented technology or magnetic chillers or the room air conditioners, as I told you, with the R32 refrigerant, Daikin is leading the way.
Okay. So my next question to you, Mr. Java, is that you are an executive committee member of the Bharatiya Skill Development University. Tell me about this venture or this enterprise.
Yeah, actually, I have always believed in the human capabilities.
Okay.
And I also talked to you that, when you asked me a question in the beginning that, about 3 things, and I had only told you 2. One was launching R32 and one was launching an air conditioner.
Right.
But I think another thing which I focus on after working for so many years is the skill development.
Okay.
And setting up of Daikin Japanese Institute of Manufacturing Excellence towards creating the skilled manpower in India and Japan.
Okay.
And I must talk to you about this, that this was launched in the presence of Mr. Shinzo Abe and Mr. Modi.
Wow.
This is primarily has given me a joy of launching this and given me a thought leadership recognition by many, many institutes, not only the Bharatiya Skill Development, also the LBS, also now in CII and all, because my mission is that, like you are saying that, I'm of your vintage, definitely. But one thing which I thought that I could give it back to this industry is giving the skilled force. So I think BBSD is one university which actually I'm on their board, primarily for skill development, because I personally feel and also professionally feel that this is very, very important for the country. And in this, through these efforts of skill development in the country, Daikin has actually taken that lead. And Daikin has, I'm happy to share that we did more than 150,000 man-hours training during the lockdown time to enhance the skills of our stakeholders. Yes. This industry is actually starved of resources. And so therefore we have associated ourselves with many, many universities like Bharatiya Skill University. We have tie-up with Loyola College in Chennai, in Telegraph in Calcutta, in Delhi also we have with Pusa Institute and this gym. Our aim is that, to create almost about 30,000 people for this industry by 2025 through our Daikin gym and through our various Center of Excellence universities like Bharatiya Skill Development University.
Very nice. So, Mr. Java, I've got time for a few questions now. These are for you personally. My first question is that what does success mean to Mr. Java?
You see, I believe basically a village boy. I am not a flamboyant high flyer.
Okay.
I belong to a place which is about 100 kilometers from this Delhi, where I am sitting now. Of course, I have done Bharat Darshan. I have also traveled abroad very frequently. During career time, our Asia office was in Singapore.
Yeah.
And during Volta's time, I was traveling extensively to China, and also I was in charge of exports. But I firmly, my success means to me simple living, high thinking, and happy customers.
Wonderful. My next question is that, you said you're a village boy, but you've broken every possible glass ceiling, sitting right at the apex of the business that you chose to be in. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, it's just a mix of things, but I think I've been very, very fortunate to have very, very good mentors in my early stage. And when I was very young, I was first probably the manager in Tata's, because in Voltas the policy that time was that unless you are 40. And there was one great leader who was hired by Arthur and Anderson, Mr. R.C. Serene, who became president and chief executive of that company. And he was on the front page of many, many books at that time. So when he hired me as a service manager, probably I was the youngest service manager for South at the age of 24. Then, of course, many mentors I had, and I have been fortunate to have good mentors. My experience of working for 14 years with American company, and then with Tata's, I was also a Project Prune member, which was actually headed by the top brass of Tata's, Mr. N.D. Karodi, Mr. Ravi Kant, Mr. Ishat Hussain. I think that gave me a great experience, and my family and my friends.
Wonderful. And my last question to you just mentioned family. My question to you is that in spite of such a busy work schedule, how do you balance work and life?
Yeah, I think this question has been asked many times. So I love my brand, I love my company, and I think once you take, I just read a few days back in one of the newspaper, and I think that my style is similar to that. I take my work as vacation. So I definitely have, I don't take work as burden. So I enjoy doing my work. And at the same time, my family right from the beginning has been very supportive. I live with my wife and 2 children. My son is also a professional, and my daughter is a doctor. I live with 2 grandchildren in Delhi now, and I'm enjoying my life thoroughly. And for me, my large extended family is my channel partners family, which is almost about 10,000 dealers, and many of them have been associated with me for many decades.
Wonderful.
Actually, to be very honest with you, I mean, many of them have moved with me from Voltas to Carrier to now Daikin.
Wonderful. Mr. Java, thank you so much. It has been such an honor and a privilege to speak to you. I wish you personally lots of success, and I wish Daikin lots of success. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.